Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Yesterday I did a Game 3 World Series preview for the 111th World Series. In that video, I talked about how the 1986 World Series, which the Mets won, was a lot like the 2015 World Series thus far. Check this out. In 1986, the Mets lost Game 1 by 1 and Game 2 by 6 before winning Game 3 by 6 runs. Lost 1 by 1, lost 2 by 6, won Game 3 by 6. This year, in 2015, they lost Game 1 by 1, lost Game 2 by 6, and won Game 6 by 6. The exact same pattern. Also, in the video yesterday, I talked about this parachute story being a main headline. CNN was covering this story, how in Game 3 of the 86 World Series, a man came down in a parachute. I talked about how parachute has gematria of 39 and 93. The three biggest numbers in New York are 39, 93, 111. I've talked about this over and over. In case you've missed it, in spring training, I predicted that the Mets would be in the World Series because it was the 111th and New York equals 111. So yesterday, they won Game 3 by 6 runs. They won it 3-9, which looks a lot like 39 and 93. They also won it in a span of 3 hours and 22 minutes, a very special number to the Freemasons and the Zionists who control pro sports and rig them by the numbers. Notice that in Game 4 of the 86 World Series, it ran that long as well. Talk about a few more interesting things here. Real quick, though, I want to jump back to last year's World Series, the 110th World Series, and show you how this kind of stuff was going on last year. It's going on every year. Hints are dropped in the mainstream media about what's going to happen in sports games. This story was going on during the time of the 110th World Series last year. Story of a missing NFL fan named Paul Kitterman, said to be age 53, born on the date of 3/22, kind of like last night's length of game, 1961. If you write out 39 as a word and sum it in gematria, it sums to 61. The pitcher who gave up the record 61st home run in the year 61 was wearing the number 39. When you write out 39 and sum it in gematria, it sums to 61. Anyhow, this fan, he was found last year just hours before the final game of the 110th World Series. Notice his height is 5 foot 7 inches. World Series equals 57 in gematria. Look at this. They said he's 53 years old. The name Paul Kitterman in gematria equals 53. The day he was found was October 29th, 2014. A date with 53 numerology. On this date, the Giants would win the World Series. The manager is Bochy, having a name gematria of 53. The Giants, after winning, had then won 3 of the last 5 World Series. Also in Giants history, they won their first ever Subway Series over the Yankees 5-3, a special number to the franchise. So that story was from the 110th World Series. It was a giveaway as to what was going to happen later in the day with the Giants defeating the Royals. This story from yesterday was a hint what was going to go on with the Mets, and I talked about that in the preview video, and then the game backed it up. They won 3-9. Look at who the final pitcher was for the Mets last night, Truth Seeker. Number 39 himself, Chris Medlin. Chris Medlin, number 39 on the mound with the score 3-9. Who would close it out for the Mets was number 27. Another interesting number, 3 times 9 equals 27, plus MLB has the gematria of 27. Very important number in baseball. And in case you're not aware of 39 significance to New York, check this out. New York established July 26, 1788, a date with 39 numerology. NY, the acronym equals 39. The United Nations in New York's 39 floors tall. New York equals 39 in Pythagorean gematria, as does Empire for Empire State. Shea Stadium, where the Mets used to play, equals 39. With the S exceptions, it equals 57, like World Series. Also, like Mets. Mets, in simple English gematria, equals 57. Madison Square Garden, the acronym equals 39. The word Madison itself equals 39. 39 signers on the Declaration. 39 books in the Old Testament. which is what the Jews go by. Also, the Zionist Jews who control the United Nations, that is of 39 floors. Madison's name in gematria is 39. He made 39 proposals that became the Bill of Rights on June 8th, 1789, a date with 39 numerology. Truth Seeker, what I am trying to wake people up to is this very important lesson that the people who control this world, the Freemasons, the Zionists, they are numerologists. They operate by numbers. They always have. It's history, it's daily news, it's sports games. These people are obsessed, and the world we live in is highly rigged. Hold on, Truth Seeker. This is what else I want to show you from last night's game. See, I got it right here. So, I made a video 2 weeks ago talking about how there might be a power outage at this year's World Series. We might have already seen that event happen. In Game 1, after the 47th pitch by Matt Harvey, who wears the number 33, after his 47th pitch, Fox Sports had a blackout in their game truck, causing a national delay in coverage. What stood out right away to me is that Super Bowl 47 between the Harbaugh brothers, the first Super Bowl coached by two brothers, Super Bowl 47 had a 33-minute blackout. Also, the name Harbaugh in gematria equals 39. And earlier in the year, San Francisco, the 49ers, had blackouts at regular season games, and then it happened in the Super Bowl, which they were in. This year, there were blackouts in games that the Cubs played in, who lost to the Mets in the National League Championship Series. Anyhow, with regards to power outage, please go back and check out my video, the 111th World Series Blackout Theory. Anyhow, we might have seen it in Game 1, or there might be a bigger blackout yet to come, which is what I want to talk about now. Notice that the Royals pitchers, they had 146 pitches. The other day there was this story of a blimp causing blackouts on the loose. The number 146 was coded all over that story. Power outage itself has gematria of 146. In 2003, there was a blackout in New York caused by First Energy, the power company. First Energy has gematria of 146. This was the worst blackout in New York since November 9th, 1965. Look at the date 11/9. That's the date the Berlin Wall fell in history. It's also a date that reminds very much of September 11th, 11/9, or 9/11, depending on how you write it. The Great Northeast Blackout. And here's what's extra interesting about this, Truth Seeker. Or shoot, it's not on that slide. It's coming up. Here we go. The Great Northeast Blackout of 1965 has some very interesting things going on. Notice that Great Northeast Blackout has gematria of 85, as does the phrase blackout 85. The last time the Royals won the World Series was in the year 85, which is who the Mets are playing right now. So this great blackout of 1965 happened on a date with 85 numerology, when the word blackout itself has a gematria of 85. It's also a date with 104 numerology, which reminds me of the new One World Trade Center building. One World Trade Center is 104 floors tall. The date of the blackout also had a numerology of 85. It has a name title gematria of 85. It has a date numerology of 85, just like the word blackout, 85. It took 11 minutes for the surge to cause the blackout in New York. This is funny because New York is the 11th state, reminding of how Flight 11 hit the giant World Trade Centers that look like huge 11s on 9/11 in an event completely rigged by the numbers. Please watch my hour-long video on September 11th. I assert it is the best video on September 11th ever created. Might sound arrogant, but I think after you watch it, you will see it's true. It proves beyond a shadow of a doubt who is responsible for September 11th. All right, so from yesterday, there was also this headline about how Roddy Piper fired up the fans in Game 3 of the 1986 World Series. Roddy Piper has some interesting connections, Truth Seeker. He died this year on July 31st. If this year's World Series goes to Game 7 like the 86 World Series, which I expect it to, it will be exactly 96 days after the death of Roddy Piper. So often people are sacrificed for these professional sports games. Roddy Piper might have been one of those people. And with regards to 85 and Roddy Piper, the name Rowdy, his nickname, has gematria of 85, and the first ever WrestleMania he appeared in was in the year 85. Also, WrestleMania this year was hosted in San Francisco, who won the last World Series, which seems to have connections to this World Series. WrestleMania and San Francisco also have gematria 59, just like Kansas City Royals. Just like Eric Hosmer, who knocked in the winning run of Game 1, the longest ever World Series that was 5 hours, 9 minutes, kind of like 59. Last night after the Royals lost, there were headlines, Royals lose Game 3. Notice the emphasis on those words. Royals lose Game 3 equals 2-2-3. Remember, last night's game was 3 hours, 22 minutes, the reverse of 2-2-3. This is a special number to the Zionists who run pro sports. Royals lose Game 3 also has Jewish gematria of 1047. In numerology, 0 doesn't count, so this is just like 147, which matches up with the gematria of World Series. This year on August 6th, 8-6, I wanted to see who the Mets and Royals played. It turned out the Mets did not play on August 6th, but the Royals did. The Royals lost to the Detroit Tigers 8-6 on August 6th. Remember, Detroit is connected to the Curse of the Billy Goat, which is on the Cubs, who the Mets defeated. We got Detroit's goat and Curse of the Billy Goat equal 2-2-3. Could be a coincidence, possibly not. I find it interesting that the Royals played the Tigers on this date, who are connected to this curse. And again, the Mets advanced to the World Series over the Cubs, who are still suffering from the curse of the Billy Goat. We got Detroit's goat, 2-2-3, important numbers that get coded often. Here's the box score from August 6th of this year. The Royals lost 6-8 on 8-6 with 6 runs and 8 hits. How about that? Yesterday in the preview video, I talked about how the coded poster created by the Mets website coded the date of August 6th within it. So, all very interesting, at least to me. Some other things that are interesting about where the Mets play. Yesterday's game had a line of negative 144 for the Mets. They play with the home run apple in their stadium. Home run apple has the gematria of 144, very special number. Citi Field apparently has a 4.4 review. Remember, if you write out 44 in Summit, it sums to 144. Also creeping me out yesterday were these headlines about Raul Mondesi. If Raul Mondesi is out there, get this video to him. I want him to watch his ass. He might be the next World Series sacrifice based on the numbers on him. Check this out, Truth Seeker. In the 85 World Series, he made his debut in Game 3. 85 World Series started on a date with numerology of 114. This year's World Series could go to November 4th. The name Raul Mondesi has gematria of 59, just like Kansas City Royals, just like Eric Hosmer. Notice how Mondesi equals 79 in simple English gematria. Here's why it's creepy, Truth Seeker. Unless I forgot to write it down here. Here it is. The word kill has Jewish gematria of 59, like his name, and the word murder has simple English gematria of 79. Notice that kill is also 44 in simple English gematria. Raul Mondesi is currently 44 years old. Currently 44. He's connected to this. The people who rig sports also murder people by the numbers. We saw this in the deaths of the fathers of the pitchers related to Game 1. Remember the starting pitcher, his father died just moments before Game 1. The pitcher who closed it out, Chris Young, had lost his father a month earlier. These are not coincidences. This is how the gang rules that I am exposing. I am exposing this not for fun and games, but because it's something that needs to be very much ended.